Alrighty. So we talked about the difference between pixels and vectors, and then we're just going to go over briefly what the different formats would be. The first that most of you probably know is JPEG. And if you don't know, JPEG stands for Joint Photographic Experts Group, which was formed a long time ago when they started doing digital images, and the photograph community got together, and this is what they came up with. And as you can see on screen, it's widely used for digital photography. The characteristics offers a good quality with a relatively small file size. However, it uses lossless compression. What does that mean? Meaning some quality is lost each time the image is saved. And that is a great example of what I keep trying to talk about on Facebook, because when you upload an image to Facebook, whether it's a JPEG or a PNG, Facebook makes it a JPEG. And every time you upload it, it compresses again. You download it, you upload it, it compresses again. You download it, you upload it, compresses again. And that's why we keep getting all those garbage images. And by garbage, I mean just compressed and blurry and just not looking good for you guys to print. So that's a JPEG. Next, we have the PNG, which is portable network graphics. And the great thing about these are, and as most of you know, they do hold transparency. What does that mean? That you can have a transparent background with an image with no background. You cannot do that with a JPEG. The usage of a PNG is commonly for web graphics, especially when transparency is needed. There you go. Characteristics: it supports transparency and provides lossless compression. No quality is lost upon saving, but with larger file size than a JPEG. So once again, back to Facebook. If I upload a PNG to Facebook, it does not save as a PNG. Facebook changes it to JPEG. And as you can see, the reason why. When you have a PNG, the file size is larger. So what they do to save size on their end is they change the PNG to a JPEG. And that's what you get. There's no way around it. And that's why I really push people to see the differences between the image quality when you have just a PNG and you have something that's not compressed as compared to a JPEG that gets compression. Okay, those are the two main. There are a couple other ones that I'll go over real quick just so you have an idea, but those are the two main ones: JPEG and PNG. Bitmap you might see, just BMP means bitmap image file. Uses less common. Used in certain applications like Windows OS. You might see this pop up somewhere. Like I said, just wanted to mention it. It is a pixel image. Same thing here, TIFF, tagged image file format. These are usually professional. You can see right there, professional photography and desktop publishing. They're high quality. They have both lossy and lossless compression options depending on how you save the image. Once again, just wanted to point out, if you see a TIFF, it is a pixel image. And just to give you an idea. All right, next up we have the vector images. First up, probably the ones you see the most are SVGs. And what does that stand for? Scalable vector graphics. And so this kind of something that drives me a little crazy, and it's just my own personal problems, is when I see people asking for SVGs when really all they need is an image. When people say, oh, I'm looking for an SVG of Santa Claus. Well, in my mind, whenever you ask for an SVG, it usually means you're going to cut it out because you need those vector graphics so that your cutter can cut the shapes to build that Santa Claus. Other than that, if you're just printing, you don't necessarily need an SVG. You just need an image or a PNG or a JPEG. Also, something to note, Facebook does not allow you to upload SVGs. So SVGs cannot be shared in Facebook comments or messages, because when you try to upload them, it doesn't take them. So when people are asking for SVGs, what really is going on is they're asking for an image that they could then change into an SVG so that they can cut it. And once again, that doesn't always work 100%, because depending on the software you're using to change that pixel image to a vector image, sometimes it doesn't come out as the line is so crisp. Because once again, you're working with pixels, not vectors. Ideal for web graphics and designs. The characteristics: XML-based format. What that means is that all of the data is held in an XML file. That just means code, and that's what gives it its scalability. There you go. Format that is scalable without loss of quality. Widely supported on the web and allows for animation and interactivity. We'll never use that because we're not doing web-based stuff, but it's good knowledge to know. SVGs are great for logos. They're great for 2D just flat images, flat graphics. Anything you're going to do vector-wise, you can use SVG for. Next is EPS. I always say this wrong. Encapsulated PostScript. I always get tongue-tied on that for some reason. Commonly used in professional graphics arts and printing. Characteristics supports complex vector graphics and is compatible with various graphic software, often used for high-resolution printing. Yes, this is EPS. Is many files you'll find online that you download from any of these file sharing websites like FreePic, Adobe Stock. A lot of them will come down as EPSs or AI, which we'll get to in a second. The EPS will hold all kinds of information, gradients and strokes and fills and all that kind of stuff that we'll get into later on. But EPS is a vector format, so just keep that in mind. Next, you have obviously Adobe Illustrator. This is going to be a vector file because it's built in vector. Standard in professional graphic design. Characteristics: native format of Adobe Illustrator. Highly versatile, supports complex vector graphics, and primarily used within Adobe software. Pretty much. It's like if you had a Corel Draw or Inkscape file, this would be an AI file, would be a vector image. Next, and lastly, we have PDF. This one scares me because PDF can have vectors in it, but they could also have pixels. I've had many times where I tell someone to send me, they'll say, I have a PDF. I was like, oh, perfect. We'll use the PDF and you grab the vector graphics out of it. They send me the PDF and all it is a pixel image embedded in a PDF. So this one I would be wary of because yes, it can have vectors, but it also cannot. So just be careful that it can have both. See, it says versatile format used for documents, but also supports vector graphics. Not always vector, but supports it. Characteristics: maintains the integrity of both vector and raster graphics. There you go. And raster graphics is another way of saying pixel. It means the same thing. Widely used for sharing documents that require preservation of a layout. So there you go. Those are the main vector and pixel formats that you'll see online, and you can now point out the differences between the two. If an image is a PNG, you'll know. If an image is an SVG, you'll know the difference. Okay, and just by the way, I'm going to scroll back real quick and just show you that these are all denoted by .png or .jpeg. And remember, JPEG can be JPEG or just JPG. It's the same thing. .png, .bmp, .tiff, and so on. These are the extensions, and then next to it is basically what the extension means. Okay, we'll see you next time.